Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a DBD discussion video with gameplay in the background. You can use the build in the back if you want. I'm warning you now, it's more fun than anything. I think the win rate around it is 50-ish%. And I can almost guarantee you one of those matches had a cheater. But hey, that's a different story. Not what we're here to talk about. Today we're talking about balanced. The new patch dropped. New things are here. New things changed. And I kind of want to say I told you so, but not really at the same time. Um, I found myself having this discussion in my comment section again, and I've talked about it in my Eruption Nerf video for those that developer update. But it seems like the devs are really scared to make the next Nerf or Eruption. But they don't seem to be too scared to make the next Dead Hard. This is, of course, going to be biased as a bad guy main, right? I'm trying to say TOS, but you know what? Let's see. Let's see what happens here, right? It seems to be that they are really scared about making the survivors mad, and you know, I don't say that typically because I don't. I'm not one of the people that's just like, "Ooh, all survivors are the scourge of the earth." Oh, no, just the ones that get angry at me in post game talking about I've tunneled when I avoided them or whatever, something like that, right? But really, though, they seem to do changes with the idea in mind of this will be bad if Nurse got her hands on it, or this will be bad if Nurse got her hands. Like I think that's the only stopping point for some of these. So you get a bunch of restrictions, and you go, well, yeah, that's a Nurse problem. She just got nerfed pretty significantly. Like she can't use M1 perks nearly as well as she used to. And I don't think that's a Nurse problem anymore. Truthfully, I don't think it is. I think it's a dev problem because they're not balancing things around what if a Swift does it? And what if we make another Dead Hard? I say this because of a few things, right? If you looked at my short form content one way or another, or, just right now, I was talking about how scary Game of Foot was in the PTB because it had weird interactions. Basically, anything that required you to hit your obsession was triggering before the person became the obsession, or rather, while that change was happening. So you could Rancor down somebody that previously wasn't your obsession. It's probably the most extreme case, and get things like stacks of Remember Me, or a Dark Devotion. And they did keep the fact that Dissolution will proc Game of Foot, and I'm assuming Spirit Fury will as well, but at that point, why do you need Game of Foot on? But yeah, I didn't consider what would happen if it didn't work like it did in the PTB. That perk is kind of not worth it for most things. If you look at my last video, I did get good value out of it. I'm not going to spoil what happened, but I did get pretty significant value out of it. Um, but it's been really hard to find use out of it beyond that, and that seems to be how most of the bad guy perks have been going. Like it's very hard to find use out of one without comboing it with three things. And that's when I can understand some people saying it's pay to win. Which I still look, as long as no ed is free and Slobby Butcher basically and Nurse, yeah, no. You can miss me with that. But, you know, it is does feel like to make some things work you need to buy other things for that side. And I guess that can be on both sides. But I've seen the shenanigans with the new perks, and I'm a little bit upset because I don't. we don't have the same fun tools. And again, this is just first impressions. It's been within a week, right? And I don't know everything, and we may never know everything about it. But I can tell you right now, I've tried a lot of things. I've tried to test a lot of things. I'm not gonna say, oh, I tested everything, but I've tried a lot of things, and a lot of things ain't working, Chief. Then you have Swifts that are making it impossible to be picked up until somebody like laughs and makes a mistake, because any means necessary is now able to be used without any cooldown, and then you have flip flop power struggle and like a flashlight. Oh, and background player. So I thought background player was a meme. I think we all did. I said, why not just use sprint burst? But then I saw people flying across the map to get saves, either from pallets or with flashlights, and now I'm salty. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm salty about that one. And then they reset the pallet while the person's blinded, and the person that was down, if nobody's around, just crawls under the pallet or goes down intentionally when they know they won't make another rotation under the pallet, and then use power struggle, and then the person flies away, flies over from Narnia to use background player to. It's insane. And then you have cut loose, which I gotta admit is pretty funny, but also the audio in this game doesn't work well enough for me to not be mad about it. That's the one that basically is Dance With Me, but on a timer. So, or sorry, Quick and Quiet, I guess, is the better example. On a timer, you vault and it's quiet and you can keep refreshing it. Kind of insane. And then for those that you don't know, background player is basically sprint burst, but it triggers when the bad guy picks somebody up. And then you have Blood Rush, which I've just seen it works with Metal of Man, and you go, that's a lot of prerequisites together. Yeah, but like together, not separately. Why is leverage only altruistic heals within 30 seconds of getting a hook? And you have to stack those hooks. Like why is that so much? Why is Thwack on not a cooldown, but you have to get a hook before you can break a pallet to see people within a few meters for a little bit? Or Game of Foot requires you to chase somebody to the ends of the earth to switch the obsession with a basic attack and not just any health state, right? Things like that. Like, and then what somebody pointed out about Game of Foot is that it requires you to make your chases take longer over time. Like you're getting more value if each of your chases take longer, which is not what you should be aiming for. You want them to get shorter over time. Like through the course of the match specifically too. Like goodness. But then you have Blood Rush, which just means that you got hooked twice, and then you can refresh any exhaustion you had, go down to broken, and if you survive for 20 seconds, you're just back to full. And then Metal of Man, yeah, it requires you to get some protection hits in. But you're telling me because of the previous conversation of not letting that make you go into deep wound, now somebody can tank a hit with Metal of Man and then still be back to full on the final hook? That's insane, right? And then all of this can then be coordinated with the Swift. And I've never been like, oh my gosh, Swifts are OP, nerf them. Oh, they have Discord. That's an exploit. Oh, but I will say they're obviously not thinking about how things can affect when you are using it with friends, which is unfortunate. Like Circle of Healing and Medkits, we've already talked about why those are out of hand, right? But then the only thought is, oh, but what if Nurse can do it? Even though Nurse is just going to, she just breaks the rules. That's just that. But then everybody suffers because they're too scared because they don't want to upset the other side. And that's pretty much what I'm coming from with this. Now, you feel free in the comments tell me how pedantic I'm being and Tell me what I'm not seeing, right? But then also think about the map design and how we keep getting large maps with a bunch of junk in them. So I can't even I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, hey, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.